inspirations, spotlighting gospel sensation. Motivation and inspiration for your eternal destination. Let's talk about it. It's the Mary W. Robinson Show.
Stay tuned for the Larry W. Robinson Show.
Celebrated media personality Larry W. Robinson presents Gospel Updates. Gospel Updates is the who, what, when, why, and where in the gospel music industry. Gospel Updates is a monthly magazine, weekly newsletter, video webcast, as well as a podcast. Gospel Updates has over 25 years of featuring people in the gospel music community. Gospel Updates magazine and the new Gospel Updates weekly newsletter document those who are continuing to help shape and write new chapters of this ever-evolving story of gospel. Go to www.gospelupdates.com. That's www.gospelupdates.com to get the latest issues. If you want to be featured, call or text 337-214-4046 or email gospelupdates@gmail.com for rates and details. Gospel Updates, featuring people in the gospel community for over 25 years.
You're listening to the Larry W. Robinson Show.
Thank you for tuning in to today's conversation. My guests today are Dawkins and Dawkins. They are an American gospel music and Christian R&B duo who currently is signed to Legacy Music Group. The group consists of two brothers, Anson Dawkins and Eric Dawkins. Their first release was in 1993. I remember it so well. I was a junior in high school when it first came out, Dawkins and Dawkins. And then they went on to release Necessary Measures in 1994. Then they followed up in 1998 with Focus. And then they took a little break. And then in 2011 came back with From Now On. Now, approximately 10 years later, 2021, their latest project is titled Never Gets Old, Volume 2, Faith and Favor. Their current radio single is Come By Here, but they have a concept video out right now for In My Feelings. Dawkins and Dawkins, welcome to the conversation, brothers.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
All right. So now listen, I got some fun questions, but everyone wants to know, and I'm sure you've probably answered this question 1,000 times already, but where you been, brothers?
You know what? It's so cool that you would ask that question. We have been asked several times, and I'm sure we asked more. But we've been, taking time doing life, family, writing, production. Eric has been. If you listen to the radio, you hear a lot of songs that he's been writing and co-writing and producing as well, in both gospel and R&B. Pop as well, and family. He's been, he's got a almost 8-year-old son, almost a 28-year-old daughter. So doing that and a beautiful wife. And I'm a worship pastor. I've been doing that.
Oh wow.
Well, for now, at the current church I'm at for almost 15 years. So doing that as well as getting in on some of the writing and production with Eric at times. So that's what we've been doing, and as well writing for ourselves and preparing for the Never Gets Old volumes. So this is what we've been doing. We've been having a good time doing that, and now we're here.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's talk about the volumes or the series, The Never Gets Old. It started 10 years ago. Let's talk about that, and then let's talk about this new one.
So Never Gets Old is actually a concept that we've been kind of toying around with for a little while. And just so people know what the Never Gets Old title came from, one thing we get a lot is like, do you guys age? Like, I think if it wasn't for the gray in our beards, that people would really, really not know how old we are. So we always get teased about, y'all done found the fountain of youth, and where's it at? Like, I want it. So that aspect of never gets old is one thing that we named it after, and then the fact that God's grace, His mercy and favor never get old. It never gets old, even though it's something that you experience over and over again. You think of things that happen over and over again as redundant or repetitive or it gets mundane or whatever, but that aspect of the love of Christ never gets old. And then the third aspect of it is we try to make timeless music that you can play 10, 15, 20 years from now and it still have relevance. So thematically, it just made sense to have everything fall under that never gets old umbrella. And then the themes for each volume just kind of it's a way for us to categorize the songs that we do, because we have songs for every season of your life, basically. So there's something that you can relate to on each one of the volumes, whether it's you're going through a tough time, whether you're going through a season of abundance, a season of lack, a season of mourning. There's always something that you can hear from each one of these volumes that'll speak to where you are.
That's good. You know what? Now I'm a fan, so let me just go ahead and throw that out there. So I love Dawkins and Dawkins music and sound, and for myself, there are times when I like to listen to just music like Dawkins and Dawkins.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, there are times, since I'm a radio announcer, that I like choir music, praise and worship. I go through these seasons, but oftentimes I really like that you got intentional lyrics, but it's still music that you can kind of, bop your head to in the car, that kind of stuff. So I love that kind of music. Was that intentional? Because even back in the 1990s, when we were bumping Kirk Franklin and all that, and then Dawkins and Dawkins drop, I was like, oh, I like this. So was that an intentional thing that you did with your music?
The interesting thing about that is that it's just kind of a natural flow out of what we've grown up listening to, what we've grown up enjoying. We grew up on church music.
Mm-hmm.
The PKs, preachers' kids, so we grew up in a house where we were not allowed initially to listen to any secular music.
Really?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah,
We were visiting our grandmother, and our aunt snuck us some Earth, Wind, and Fire, and some Parliament, and some Commodores, and we were like, okay, this is the real deal right here. So we loved that. It started becoming a part of our musical experience, our musical development, because we grew up listening to, Rance Allen, the Hawkins, Andre Crouch, and then we got into Winans, and of course our mentors and our mentors commission. We got into all that, so we were like, oh, this is what we want to do. This is how we like it. So, and we kind of pushed the envelope a little bit, but I honestly, I don't feel like we pushed the envelope any more than some of the artists that were of old, because Andre Crouch was pushing the envelope with his music, with what he was doing. The Winans pushed it. Everybody had. I think the thing that kind of sets us apart a little bit is that we've kind of delved a little more into the mainstream market with some of the outside music that we've done, and then as well that you kind of start feeling that some of those same influences that we would do there, you would get them on some of our music. So it's all a natural part of who we are, and to say it's intentional, it would be kind of redundant, because it's just who we are. It's just who we are.
I was talking to one of my friends earlier today, and we was just kind of figure out our favorite Dawkins and Dawkins songs. So we kind of went through, and the top three that came to mind was, of course, Need to Know. I think
Okay.
that's everybody's favorite. Then, of course, Wrapped Up,
Mhm.
and then Pray for Me.
Okay. Mhm.
Now, what are some songs that you think that as fans we really kind of miss? Like, hey, you know, I know y'all like Need to Know, I know you like Wrapped Up, I know you like Pray for Me, but there's this other song on this record that I really think y'all should listen to and let it bless you. Listen to it again, we should say.
I'm there. There's a lot. There's a lot. We have people talk about Child of God,
Yep.
um, and or they'll go to our second project and songs like Word Up, Miracle, Rain
Oh yeah.
for Me,
Mhm.
Whenever I'm Lonely. Those songs are some of the ones that really kind of thrust us into the R&B kind of vibe more so than what we did. I mean, we naturally kind of did that kind of stuff, but the producers that we used on that record, they were more they were doing stuff in the mainstream, so they had that edge as far as the music was concerned, and even them writing the way they wrote for that particular project. But yeah, there's it's so many so
Yeah.
many of them that
From
are
now on, that I mean,
Oh
that's
yeah.
from now on project.
yeah,
I'm just saying.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
From now on, ordinary. I mean, we've got a lot of songs, and I think certain people miss. I songs I go back honestly, songs that I go back and listen to are songs like From Now On,
Mhm.
uh, songs like Ordinary, and also songs like Back. But some of those have sentimental meanings to us. Because you remember where you were and what you were doing when you wrote those songs, and what you were thinking about, what you were feeling, the experiences that you were having when those songs were written. So they hold some sentimental value, but I think they still are some really quality songs.
Got it. Hey, have you ever wrote a song like years ago and you were in a certain place, but then you listen to it now like, wow, I don't know if I would have pinned those lyrics, or I probably would have said this now. If you had the ability to go back and update songs, would you change some lyrics or say things a little differently than you said 10 and 20 years ago?
I mean, the fact that we've both evolved. Naturally, there are things that we listen to like, I was a young writer then.
Yeah.
The way I phrase things, the way I put things together, the way I rhymed right there, I probably do it different. But it all comes with growth. Learning
Yeah.
how to do things better. Over the years, I think there are some things that I would do differently if I was doing them now. But would I change anything? What we did, I think it is, it's part of the maturation process. Like you don't look at a 3-year-old and expect them to be able to ride a 10 speed. You know what I'm saying? It's growth. It has
Yeah.
to happen. There's steps, there's levels. You don't expect them to skip steps when he's going up the steps or coming down. Take each step. But then by the time, like my son is 7 now, he skips steps when he runs upstairs. Like it's just that level of growth that we've experienced, and it's good. It's good. I listened to some tracks that I did back in the early 90s, mid 90s, and I honestly feel like I want to get back to the passion that I had when I was doing those tracks. Like some of the way I structured stuff was really cool, but again, being able to evolve and kind of move with the times is important as well.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Anson, you want to add to that before?
I think that's very true what Eric said. I mean, this is an evolution process. We grow and we learn. It is interesting sometimes and funny to go back and listen even to some things that we actually recorded. Like our first project, and I was listening to it a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, oh, that was that was up there. I was like, ooh, and it some of them still have, the heart or sentiment of what was said was great. However, the delivery was not as good. I think those are more things that we, if we wanted to go back, if we would like to go back and change, is the development of our voices and the how
Oh
the
yeah, it was some flat and sharp.
yeah,
And
it was crazy that was going on. But yeah, but if you listen, I mean, it's again, it's growth and some learning in the production aspect of things and just how to arrange things better.
Gotcha. Well, brothers, I reached out to a couple of people from across the country. I told them that I was interviewing you guys today, and they submitted some questions. And so I
Uh-oh.
promised them that I would ask those questions. So let's start off. Let's go to Chicago, Illinois. Now, this guy is a comedian, so I just kind of want to tell you that ahead of time. But he's actually a gospel recording artist himself and a media personality out there in Chicago. VJ McCoy has this question. Do you consider yourselves gospel artists or CCM artists?
Definitely not CCM. And I don't think we consider ourselves gospel either. We kind of identify more with that inspirational.
Mm-hmm. I remember wasn't the phrase years ago, rhythm and praise? Was that something that you guys? Oh, that's what I thought. Okay. So I was looking for it in the recent bios and I didn't see it. I saw R&B, but I didn't see rhythm and praise.
Yeah,
Did y'all stop saying that or you just hadn't put it in yet lately?
We're gonna slip it back in. And
Okay.
When we did this bio, it didn't get put in.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because that's what we termed it, and that's what we want to keep it as. Right, you know what I'm saying?
I got you. All right. Christina Lockett. She's an author, a preacher, and a media personality out of Houston, Texas. She says, what other genres of music do you enjoy singing?
I do a little R&B from time to time. I love country. Really, I mean, that's about it as far as singing is concerned.
And you can sing country music?
I have a couple of songs that would lend themselves toward country. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah. I mean, we were down south, so there's some country in us.
I got you.
Yeah, there's some rock. What after I started involved with with my church, there was some different elements that I was kind of that were kind of added to me. So I was able to kind of delve into that. So I enjoy some rock stuff as well.
Gotcha. Now I'm just curious, as a praise and worship leader at your church, do you do some Dawkins and Dawkins runs and stuff? Are you?
Every once in a while, I'll throw something in because it's in you, and you're just like. But I have learned over the years that what my role really is as a worship leader. I feel like what I'm doing is I am modeling for people how they can worship. I'm not prescribing to them a way, you got to do it like this. I'm giving them a model of it can be like this. And I want to do something that is going to be more feasible for the majority of the people to do when they hear me. So there are, little points in time where I'll slip something in, but not regular. It's not like all the time you go and you're gonna be getting all this stuff. But when it's appropriate, I'll slip something in.
Gotcha. All right. We were talking, I was talking with a friend earlier today. We were just randomly talking about movies that we have been watching. So I think Clickbait on Netflix has been something everybody's watching. So my friend Greg wanted me to ask, what are some movies that you guys are what's the word? Binge watching on any one of them, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's muted.
binge watching. The Shy was one of my shows. I actually have a couple of friends on the show, actually several.
Oh, okay.
Snowfall, Godfather of Harlem. Movie wise, I'm a Marvel nut. Like I'll watch anything Marvel. So when what was it, the one with
Was it Chadwick?
no, the series that came on.
Oh, are you talking about? You're not talking about Loki. You know Loki.
I actually didn't finish watching Loki. It was the one that came on before that with
Talking about, you talking about with Captain America? No, it wasn't Captain America. Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. I did watch that one. It's the one that was set like it was an old TV show.
Oh, you're talking about Scarlet Witch and what was it called?
Crazy. I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Wow. On Netflix?
WandaVision.
WandaVision.
Got you.
WandaVision.
So everything Marvel.
Yeah.
Just watched Scarlett Johansson's new one.
Yeah.
So I'm that's my kind of thing. And I love comedy too. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I just started watching Clickbait last night.
Listen.
Is it good? What is it about? Like
it starts off. You're like trying to figure out what's going on.
When it first came on, I was like, "Whoa!" But
all through it. So I'm just Clickbait.
So I'm just curious, what episode are you on? I just want to see what.
I think I just started 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
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 So
Eric, do yourself a favor.
The only reason I started watching it, the reason I did was I saw on Facebook
Spencer Smith.
Spencer. I saw
Yep.
like Clickbait. I was like, oh, I gotta check this out. I'm gonna check this out.
Yeah. You know what? Have you ever because I saw it and I was scared to say what I was watching on Facebook.
Oh.
Have you ever wanted to talk about something like that, like Clickbait or whatever it was? It was like, maybe I should put this on Facebook. But when I saw him put it in, I said, oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm a guy that, interestingly enough, and people probably wouldn't be, but if there's a series that comes on or a limited series that deals with ghosts or something like that, I'll watch. I'll watch if it's got a good storyline. Like I watched the Haunting of Hill House, which was like trippy. I tripped on it, but it was when you find out that the movie, even though it's a haunted kind of thing, it is going through the stages of grief. And I was like, "Whoa, this is deep."
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was good. It was kind of scary, but it was good.
We're gonna get back to the question, but one series that I wanted to say I watched on Facebook, but I was like, but it's actually the series on Netflix titled Lucifer.
Oh Lord,
that is so good, right? But it's so good, and so many. I guess as a preacher, so many sermons just formulate because you can just see how folk, get into stuff. No sin or whatever you want to call it. You don't just accidentally pop up in it. You know what I mean? Like, so watching that show, you can just kind of see the progression of how people get into entanglements and how it goes. So
yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I think I watched a couple episodes of that. I haven't, but I haven't gotten deep into that one.
Got you. All right, back to we're going to go to Washington, D.C. D. Walter Rogers is an author, speaker, and life coach. He wants to know, what was it like during the 90s to make and produce R&B sounding gospel music?
It was hard.
Any pushback from the religious community?
Absolutely. We had somebody tell us that well, as late as Need to Know, 98, somebody told us that it wasn't gospel, like to our face.
Oh wow. Somebody in gospel is just a
A record store owner who
oh
went
wow.
to the store to do a in-store thing.
Promo, yeah.
Um, he he told us like, yeah, no, we don't really play that. That ain't gospel. And we kind of looked at each other like, well, what did you listen to the words?
Yeah.
He was stuck on the sound.
Mm-hmm.
Never even really paid attention to the words. So we had him play it while we were there and gave him reference while the song was going. I was like, now clearly, we are a gospel group.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you think we would be saying that you need to know about?
Mm-hmm.
Anything other than God? Anything other than the good news?
Mm-hmm.
What? And after he finished listening to it, it was a conversion that happened. We converted.
Come on.
Yeah.
He saw the light.
Yeah. So we got that kind of pushback because people would hear the beat initially and automatically assume that it was something before they even took the time to pay attention to what we were saying. So we definitely got a lot of pushback, and because we were too urban for gospel stations and too gospel for R&B stations, so we were stuck in that middle like matrix for a long time. But we just existed there. We didn't. I mean, it didn't really. I don't think it bothered us as much as people would think it did, because we just.
Yeah, I think what bothered us, what kind of bothered us more, and it wasn't anything against the artists themselves, or Kirk is a good friend of ours, but when some of Kirk's music would be played on some R&B stuff, and it was like, okay, we fit into that genre, but not giving us an opportunity to do that. But and it wasn't any fault of Kirk's, nothing on him. It was just that we weren't real well received, and it wasn't the right time for us. And we understand that everything happens for a reason, and we trust that the people that the music is going to be for, they're going to get it. They're going to get it. We're not in charge of we're not in charge of what they play on the radio stations, or what program director is gets into us and just supports us. So what monies go wherever.
Mm-hmm.
We just get to create this music and pray that people enjoy it. And if they do, it's for them. If they don't, it's not.
Gotcha. Well, I said like this: there's an ordained audience for every gift.
Yeah.
So just operate in your gift, and I just believe your ordained audience will be attracted to your gift.
Yeah.
Health and wellness coach out of Charlotte, North Carolina, Harold LaFall has this question. Let me just say, I promised him I would do this. I just want y'all to give him a shout out. He's like a big Dawkins and Dawkins fan. So if y'all could just say Harold LaFall's name, I think he'll be blessed.
Harold
LaFall.
What's up, bro? Appreciate your support and love, man.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, he's a big Dawkins and Dawkins fan. Okay, but this is his question. He's a health and wellness coach. So get ready. And we'll answer, and it's going to be easy for you. But what have you guys been doing to remain healthy during this pandemic?
That's good. For me, I have continued doing what I was doing before.
Right.
Trying to, exercising regularly, eating well, as well as trying to take some more, which is my personal therapeutic time, is honestly running. I get out and I run, and that's therapy for me. That's something that makes me feel better, that relaxes me. So those are things that I've been doing, and trying to, work on my relationships, with not, and when I say relationships, I mean just in general, how I, my maintaining my peace, and trusting God in those situations with family, with friends, that I'm able to set boundaries if I need boundaries. I'm able to be vulnerable if I need to be vulnerable with in safe spaces. And, as well as, I've been taking time to develop or hear more, and also being challenged in my faith with the things that I've grown up with, to see, are they actually true? Are they actually true? So it's been an interesting time during this COVID season.
Gotcha. Eric?
Well, I chase my 7-year-old around the house a lot.
Come on.
I try to do some type of workout, as regularly as I can with doing, with what I do. Sometimes scheduling is a little tricky, but I'm married to a model, so she kind of keeps me in line in certain areas when I feel like being, coached, so to speak. But we've both been, him and some more so than me lately. I used to be the one, I'd be in the gym, have fitness trainers and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just been a lifestyle. Like, try not to eat too crazy, but still living life. Haven't done the vegan thing yet. I don't think I will.
I had a little issue with look at it, my first week as a vegan.
Oh, there you go. What was your issue?
Say it again.
What was your issue? You had an issue?
Oh, I'd rather not say. Just
Uh-oh.
Yeah. You're right.
Straight.
Your phone is getting, your sound is getting muffled again.
Uh-oh.
It will set you straight.
Yes.
Right.
We'll just say it liberated me. Amen.
Hey, hallelujah.
Say it again.
He said it will set you up.
That too. Hey, you know what? How have you guys, because during this pandemic, everyone has an opinion. Everybody's posting different things. And how have you not, well, I'm not going to even assume, have you walked in fear and had to check yourself like, well, hey, God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and assignment. How have you stayed not being able to walk in fear during this pandemic when everybody has opinions, just different things? How have you remained calm and know that, hey, the same God that split the Red Seas and did all that is the same God that's able to keep me even during this pandemic?
That's it right there.
Yeah, that's it. Trust. We trust God wholeheartedly. Like, I'm not going to pray about something and worry about it, period. It just doesn't make sense. This is like a waste of energy to me. So, and I was going to say this the other day to somebody, even if you don't exercise faith, you actually exercise faith. Because when you get up in the morning and hit that light switch, you have the faith that it's going to come on. You don't know what's happening between that switch, the current, and that box. You don't know if it's going to come on. You just have the faith that it's going to come on. You roll out of the bed. When you put your foot on the floor, you have the faith that when you stand up, mobility is going to be there. When you go in the bathroom to brush your teeth, you turn that faucet and you have the faith that that water is going to turn on. So there's things, and when people say, faith, they talk about luck and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, there's some faith you have to operate in every day as a human, period. So for us, it's more of it's definitely a lifestyle, because there's no way you would have told me as a teenager that when I got into my 20s, I would be working with Christina Aguilera or getting to be good friends with Tyrese Gibson, or getting to work on a Tony Braxton album, or working with Fantasia, or working with Sting, or working with, I can name any of them, Justin Bieber, Chris Brown, any of them. But the faith that I have in the gift that God gave me, coupling those together, I just move in confidence when I walk into a room. And so I pattern my life after that. So pandemic come up, I know what to do. I know there are works that you have to perform as well. Like, I'm not just gonna go, all roughshod up into a crowded place with no mask and letting people breathe all on me stuff, because I believe that COVID is real, but I don't subscribe to the whole without your mask or without the vaccine, you such and such. I don't listen to all that. Somebody has asked me the other day to vote for some act that they were trying to put in place to mandate vaccines, and I said, yeah, I'm good. I'm not getting into all that. I don't. Whether they vote for it or not, it's not going to dictate the way I move. I take orders from God. Period. Point blank. I obey the laws of the land, but I'm not going to be sitting here. If they don't want me to come in some place because I'm not vaccinated, then I'm not supposed to go in there. I mean, I happen to be vaccinated though, so it's not even a thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think fear. A lot of fear comes out of
Ignorance.
ignorance, yeah, but also the aspect of not being in control.
Say that again.
So when people feel like there's something that's happening that they have zero control over, you see people start to act in a way that is outlandish, fearful, almost psychotic, sometimes. So I've come to grips with the fact that I'm not in control of the pandemic. I'm not in control of whether or not a shot that I take is going to work or not. I have to trust that, God is going to be able to work through the science, work through the vaccination that I get to bring healing and to keep me from getting sick. And as well, if I take the vaccine and something happens, I got to trust God in that. If the vaccine does something to me, I got to trust God there. But I've decided I'm going to take the opportunity to get that and then trust God in that and still take precautions and, allow other people to do what they're going to do. I'm not in charge of other people. As much as I would like for everybody to be on the same page, it is very clear that we're not going to be on the same page. And I don't have any control over that, but I'm not going to walk in fear. I'm not going to be worried about what's happening, what's going on, but I'm going to trust God, definitely.
All right. Well, we've been talking with Dawkins and Dawkins. Their latest project is titled Never Gets Old, Faith, Never Get Old, Volume 2, Faith to Faith. And when you get a chance, go to YouTube and check out In My Feelings. That's the latest video. And then the song that's at radio now is Come By Here.
That's
Come
right.
By Here. Any final thoughts and comments you have for our listening audiences?
We just love and appreciate all of the fans and supporters for, keeping us relevant all these years, because there's not too many people that can lay off for the amount of time that we lay off and come back and still have people that have been waiting on whatever we're going to give. And just the love that they've poured out and shown us in the comments and, the reactions to the project is overwhelming. And we so appreciate them and love them and can't wait until we can touch them in person. Thank you for your support as well.
Bless you, sir. Hey, Dawkins and Dawkins is featured in the latest issue of Gospel Updates Weekly. Go to gospelupdates.com to download it to find out more about their current project and some things to come. And while you're there, check out the current issue of the Gospel Updates magazine. It's all available at gospelupdates.com. Anson, Eric, thank you so very much for joining me for today's conversation. Bless you, brothers.
Thank you, Larry.
All
right.
Appreciate you.
Stay tuned for the Larry W. Robinson Show.
celebrated media personality Larry W. Robinson presents Gospel Updates. Gospel Updates is the who, what, when, why, and where in the gospel music industry. Gospel Updates is a monthly magazine, weekly newsletter, video webcast, as well as a podcast. Gospel Updates has over 25 years of featuring people in the gospel music community. Gospel Updates magazine and the new Gospel Updates weekly newsletter document those who are continuing to help shape and write new chapters of this ever-evolving story of gospel. Go to www.gospelupdates.com. That's www.gospelupdates.com to get the latest issues. If you want to be featured, call or text 337-214-4046 or email gospelupdates@gmail.com for rates and details. Gospel Updates, featuring people in the gospel community for over 25 years.
You're listening to The Larry W. Robinson Show.
Robinson Show. Filled with talk and inspirations, spotlighting gospel sensations. Robinson Show. Motivation and inspiration for your eternal destination.